welcome back to episode 3, Life After War. My name is Jeff Bornstein, Army veteran, along with my beautiful and Miss Kimberly co-host.
Hi everybody, welcome back.
So you having a good time with the show?
Oh my gosh, we have heard the most amazing stories.
Right?
This is just a blast.
And it's great, and we've met so many different guys. I mean, coming from different areas, and I mean yourself. Even yourself, you come from a small town, right?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, which is from where?
McAlester, Oklahoma.
Population 6.
Not that many.
That's with the coon dog, I'm just saying, right? Speaking of small towns, our first guest, wonderful to have him here. He's a small town from Benson, Arizona. Not only did he serve on the USS Kitty Hawk, he was handpicked. Handpicked. That's so cool. Handpicked for one out of 2 aerial photographers for the Navy. How cool is that? Right?
That's very awesome.
Well,
I
awesome.
think it's very impressive.
Because you only got 2 hands, handpicked 1 and 2. Right? Please welcome our first guest, Adam Gomez. Adam, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing wonderful. How about yourself?
Doing fantastic.
Thanks so much for being on our show, man.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So you're not a native Cali, are you?
I'm not.
Okay. Okay.
Born Southern in Charleston, South Carolina, but raised Southern Arizona. Small town as well.
Benson,
Benson,
Arizona.
2 stoplights. Very, very small, down a
Small
dirt
town,
road.
right?
We can so relate.
You know, it was literally we had to walk 1.5 miles down a dirt road, uphill both ways.
Oh my gosh, that's
to get
exactly.
to the bus stop, and then another 30 minutes.
She has a similar
Yep.
story.
Yeah, it was
They
good.
just recently paved the road to my mom and dad's house.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, so very small town.
Yeah.
Right.
Good,
Very
and then, yeah, I joined the military when I was 17.
17.
Wanted to get out. I kind of grew up in the film industry. My mother did locations, UPM. I talked to a lot of cinematographers. I grew up on movie sets.
Oh, cool.
Any nepotism there? I'm just asking.
A little bit.
Okay, just
Little
checking.
bit.
I wasn't sure.
And
How do you get in the business? Nepotism. Hey, that's how you make it, right?
yeah, and so, you know, I was
But I'm not saying that you're not working your ass off, because I know you are, man. Right? You
well,
work.
it's always a hustle, you know.
Yeah,
in film.
man, it is a hustle. Right? Right. That's why a lot of people change their names. They don't want them to know that Daddy helped me out, and then later on you're like, I didn't know he was related to him, right? But,
Well, she was a little upset when I decided to go in front of the camera and do stunts. You know, she wanted me to stay behind and do the
This is
UPM,
mom?
the real work. This is mom.
Okay.
You know, because the UPMs are the mothers of the film.
Right.
And they run everything and take care of all the departments.
Sure, man.
But all the cinematographers that I worked with, that was my ultimate goal. Were like, well, the military has a great photography program. It was '99, small town. I was like, I'll just go be a photographer in the Navy. I'll travel the world. I'll get some college money.
Awesome.
This is '99. It's peacetime.
Sure.
No worries.
Cold War, yeah, I get it,
Yeah, nothing to worry about. And then I went to photography school. I got put into intelligence photography. Then I got sent to USS Kitty Hawk, which was stationed at Japan.
Nice.
And as soon as I got there was when September 11th happened.
wow.
So then everything got very real.
Tough gig, yeah.
And then, you know, we deployed to the Indian Ocean. I was one of 2 aerial photographers for the Kitty Hawk. So we did TARPs, which is Tactical Air Reconnaissance Pod System. Pretty much we take pictures of places to bomb. We take pictures and make sure we bomb the targets we were looking for.
Oh, wow.
So what started as just a jaunt around the world and college money then got very real very fast.
Wow. Did you see anything? What was your most scariest moment that you can recall that may have happened? Because you're talking about being bombed, or I mean, so you were taking pictures of bombing?
Well, 2 things. One is we fly in a helicopter, the SH-14 Seahawk, and we also fly in the S-3 Viking. For that, we take pictures of other ships that might be smuggling back and forth.
So recon, mostly.
Pretty much. And then another thing is we have a pod system we put on the F-18s, and then they go out and we just run the film, and then we have to develop it, enlarge it, print it, all at sea.
So were you on an F-18 yourself?
No, I never
I was gonna
flew.
say.
I wish.
Yeah, right,
I would
right,
love
right.
to sit in an F-14.
Talk to me, Goose, right?
Wow.
Yeah, I was there when they still had the Tomcats. So the
Nice.
F-14 was by far
Right.
my favorite. No, the scariest thing for me was being on an old diesel carrier that was very old, the oldest at the time, was fires. Because an aircraft carrier is nothing but metal, fuel, and
Oil,
ammunition.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's all. So there were some pretty hectic Bravo fires, which are fuel fires. So as a sailor, you have more jobs. Other than just your primary rate, you have firefighting, mass casualty, whatnot. A couple little scary things in helicopters, on the ocean, a little shaking.
You ever see any sharks?
Yeah, well, they have, swim call.
She's a sharky.
I love sharks.
Sharks, I love the ocean, but they do slightly frighten
So swim
me.
call, I guess, everyone gets to jump in.
Swim call, after you do 60 days in the combat arena, you pull out for a day, Steel Beach picnic, you get 2 beers, you get to jump in the ocean. The problem is I was working night shift, and the night before, they were taking all the meat and they were thawing it out.
Chumming the waters, right?
In big bats. They were thawing this out, and then they were draining it. So we're in the Indian Ocean where there are large sharks.
Sharks, right?
And the night before, they're just dropping all this bloody water in. So I jumped in and climbed up the cargo net real quick. I didn't like enjoy the water. I wanted to do the jumping. That's why I got into stunts. That was what I wanted to do.
Right.
I was not sitting around. I brought this up to, a higher ranking member, and they're like, oh, well, we have Shark Watch. And they have people on a boat with a gun, but I'm like, don't big sharks attack from the bottom? Like, it's not Jaws where they show you their fins 100 yards away.
We're going to need a bigger boat.
So I was like, I don't trust that thinking.
Right.
So I'm just jump in, call out. But it was very interesting. We spent average, I think, 6-7 months a year out to sea for the 3 years I was there.
Did you see any combat or anything, or?
No.
No?
Just all from the ship.
Okay.
Support.
You were taking
Well,
pictures.
support is good. So other guys weren't getting their ass.
I was in a different scenario. My stress came from, everyone sees the movie with Owen where we think we have like digital photography and satellites are zooming down and we can find every little tank. It wasn't working that way. We were still using black and white film. The machine I had to process this film on was from the 80s. It was breaking down one engine. I got a NAM, a Navy Achievement Medal, because one of the engines went down. They had to get another engine from the Air Force out of Abu Dhabi, fly it out. I had to have it ready for a mission in an hour, because the pilots are flying to very dangerous places to get these pictures. One time a jet went down, we were having to look for this guy. So we're dealing with chemistry out to sea, which is very hard for the processing. You have to have the fixer, the developer just right. You can't ruin it. This machine has to go through several levels of old machinery. If it breaks, the film's ruined. The pilot, everything is done. So while we're running this, we have all the intelligence officers sitting around waiting for it. As soon as they find the target, the tanks they're looking for, the downed plane, they say, that's it, we have to cut it, we have to run in the dark room, print it, and literally have it out like we always drilling, like 15 seconds, we have to have it out. They look at it, then they go make the call to either bomb it or to confirm we bombed it. So my stress was more in getting the information and getting the photographs properly
maybe even feeling more guilty in more cases, right? I mean,
well, yeah. You want to be exact. You want to know, okay, you want to give them the proper information if that's what they're going to bomb.
It has to, making sure the photos come out clear, properly exposed, and that they can see everything is the totality of my job. Because the pilots are flying to dangerous areas to get these photographs. And the smallest, there's literally hundreds of little metal pins, and if one breaks, it's all scratched. It messes up the developer, it's ruined. So it's very, very easy for these machines. Luckily, we never mess up a mission, but that's due to just the diligence of the military, drilling, cleaning, making sure those machines were running properly.
So when you came back, into the real world, as we like to call it, right? What was your life any different when you came back? What did you use from the military to go ahead and gain access to be who you are today?
Well, I got out in New Orleans. And it was a little weird. I was supposed to go back for 2 years on shore duty. Chief of Naval Operations in 2004 said, if you served overseas and you have good record, like I had mostly early promotes and must promotes, you can get out up to 12 months early, because there was a lot of us that had already been overseas to Iraq, Afghanistan, and we're just on shore duty waiting to get out. So he said you can get out a year early. I applied. Everyone in my chain of command said no. 8 months later, I'm given a thing. The Pentagon said yes, and I have a week to get out. So instead of really being able to prepare, I thought I had another year in on shore duty. I learned I had a week. This was on Monday, Friday, I'm out. So I got to New Orleans. I started doing some film stuff behind the scenes, assistant location manager for like Dukes of Hazzards. Was enjoying it. A couple of my other Navy buddies came down, so we had a year of relaxing, growing the beard, growing the hair out, but still really was kind of lost thinking about my GI Bill. I went to visit my mom and my sister in South Carolina. Spent 2 months just being with family, not knowing what to do. Got a call, had a friend who's a magician's assistant at Six Flags, New Jersey. I was like, come up here, you can work as a technician for the summer, it's fun. I was like, great, I'll go up there. I leave on a Wednesday. The day I get there, the Batman fell and broke his back in the stunt show.
Oh man, that was a big curse whole thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, so he fell and broke his back in the stunt show in New Jersey, and then my friend was like, well, I have this guy coming, he's the tall height, he's a martial artist, been doing martial arts my whole life, he can do it. I leave the train, I go to Six Flags, the entertainment manager looks at me, he looks at my jawline, he says, okay, train him. Thursday I train.
Nice.
Friday I'm in the show, I'm Batman in a 30-minute action show, running around fighting the Joker, and I was like, you're gonna pay me to do the same things that I got yelled at as a kid to do?
Right.
And the military translates, so I've been doing stunts ever since.
Sure.
And military is just like the stunts, and I have to perform a dangerous mission as safe as possible, and it's all about teamwork.
Yep.
A lot of people don't understand, both of us being in the business, the key thing besides budget in a feature, if you will, is safety. And a lot of guys just, so many amateurs, you show up and they think that it's all about, okay, go ahead and hit the ground. No, man, you got to rehearse.
Well, not amateurs. Sheila LaBeouf just had 30 stitches in his head because he had a stunt that went wrong. So the military, as far as structure, looking at something that is dangerous, and then knowing how to make it as safe as possible and still get the job done.
Sure.
Teamwork, showing up on time. So really a lot of the military skills translated very easily into that. Plus, it was great because I had a lot of friends who got out and, and a lot of veterans know this, they went straight into college. And they went from action and doing all this and running around to sitting in a class. Kind of studying. And it's very tough. I had a lot of friends who really struggled. And at least I was able to find something to put that adrenaline in.
Right.
I was able to find something that I could really fulfill that need I had, plus the camaraderie. That's another big thing that a lot of people lose when they get out. As you know, stunt guys are all very close. Like when you're working together and you're sitting around, sweating, hitting the ground, you really create a friendship. So I was able to have those things.
And that's awesome that you do. If you had to sum it up in one thought, how has your service, which we've heard a little bit about today, how has your service affected your life today? Well,
I mean, I would say several things. One, I met people from all over, because I not only people in the American military, just other Americans from small towns, from Chicago, from Florida, from New York, lots of people from Texas, lots of people from Texas. But we have foreigners who serve. So in Japan, we have a lot of people from the Philippines. So, I mean, it was meeting people from different cultures, different backgrounds, people from the city, people from the country, and really exploring the world. Like, I was able to see Guam, Australia, and that's really led me to want to travel more, really see the world. I ended up living in Paris because of it, wanting to go out and do those things.
That's nice.
Very lucky, yeah.
Well, buddy, thank you so much for being on our show. Best of luck to you. You have a couple screenplays coming out.
I do.
And hey, if you need a co-stunt coordinator, bam, hit me up.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And if anyone wants to get a hold of you?
If our viewers wanted to reach out to you, Adam, how could they reach out to you?
You can reach out to me at Jumpstart Management, and also on Twitter at @RGomezAdam.
Awesome.
Very good.
Thanks for being on our show. It's been an honor, and thank you for your service, buddy.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thanks,
Appreciate
man.
it.
Thank you so much. Well, thank you so much. When we come back, we're going to find who we have. Who's on our show next?
We've got Alex coming up.
Alex, our next guest. He was in Iraq for 1 year and 1 day.
Yeah, 1 day.
What? That's the government.
I want to hear that story.
That's got to be. There's some comedy in that one right there, right?
So, folks, don't change your channel. You're watching Life After War on emPOWERme.tv.
Hi, my name is Larry Wright, and I retired with 38 years of service, first as a second-class petty officer in the U.S. Coast Guard, and then as a U.S. Treasury Department agent. You're watching Life After War on emPOWERme.tv.
Hi, I'm Mike Elizalde. I'm a retired second-class petty officer in the United States Navy, and you're watching Life After War on emPOWERme.tv.
Hi, Mitch Orsott, United States Marine Corps Corporal, retired, 2nd Battalion, 23rd Marines, 4th Marine Division, here in Azusa, California, Fire Station 32. Want to give a shout out to all my friends still fighting in Afghanistan and Iraq. We love you. You're watching Life After War on emPOWERme.tv.
Hey, welcome back. My name is Jeff Bornstein. We're here with our second guest.
Alex Siggins.
Well, Alex Siggins, yeah. But I want to go ahead and say this. He was stationed in Iraq for a year and a day. I don't get that humor of our government. What are they trying to say? What are you saying? GI, whoever. One day, man. That's,
I know. Well, let's hear his story.
No, I want to write the joke. Okay, anyway. Anyway, he's a California boy, and as I had mentioned, we're going to have. He's going to be one of our neighbors. We have so many of these vets that are going to be our neighbors.
I know. I'm super excited. I'm glad they're on the show, and I'm glad they're neighbors, and they're
California
really
boy.
great friends.
There's three. Now there's three of us, California boys.
That is.
Please welcome to our show, Mr. Alex Siggins. Alex, how you doing, buddy?
Great, yourself?
Good,
Hi,
man. Thanks. Welcome to our show, man.
Thank you.
I was going to ask where you're from, but hey, we know. Hey,
Exactly.
right?
Kelly.
So,
Born and raised San Fernando Valley.
so really?
Cool.
Yes.
Now we're narrowing it down a little bit. Narrowing it down. San Fernando Valley. Geez. What year did you go in the service? What branch were you in? And what rank did you get out as?
Yeah.
I went in 2002, January 2002. Originally went in because I was actually pushing shopping carts at Ralph's.
Okay.
And
Like homeless? Oh, pushing
No,
okay.
I was a bagger, but I was out for my hour collecting carts.
There was two things. Pushing carts and bagger. I'm telling you, homeless. We have a new show.
Had I not joined the military,
Right,
I might have been homeless eventually. But, I'm pushing carts, collecting carts. And
I like that better, man.
Collecting cards.
I had two Army recruiters come up to me, and first thing they did was look at me and say, "Do you like pushing carts for a quarter an hour?"
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, "Oh."
I don't think
It
so.
was one of those where I immediately wanted to stop them and say not interested, but
Yeah.
I can't say no to anyone or anything. And
Mark that.
well, you are going to be my neighbor. So.
Right. Literally next
So if you ever
door.
need sugar or anything, and,
We'll call
and you want to come and borrow it, I will say yes.
Knock on the window 2 in the morning. The kids need diapers.
Exactly.
Okay, Alex, I'm on the way, man.
So
So you can't say no.
yeah, so I can't say no. So I let them pitch to me for a while, and I still told them I wasn't interested, but every single day for the next week, they just called me.
I just kept on.
They were there 2 or 3 days later. It's almost like they knew my schedule, knew when I was going to be out there.
They were
Called
watching.
recon, just so you
Everyone
know.
was
Exactly,
you.
exactly. So they came, and I finally heard them out, and they said, "You know what? Just come down with us, take the ASVAB test."
What branch was this, by the way?
U.S. Army.
Okay, Army.
Army.
Okay.
Come down with us, take the ASVAB test. You're not committing to anything. Just hang out with us for a little bit. Take the test. We'll see where you're at. We'll place you, figure out what your test score is, what job you can line yourself up with when you join the military. So I was like, you know what, free lunch. I'll drive around with these guys. They picked me up from work. I didn't have to take the bus home that day. So I was like, you know
There
what?
you go.
You want to take me home and buy me a slice of pizza? Cool. Let's do it. And I was just letting them talk. It was going in one ear, out the other. But eventually they were so persistent.
So what did your MOS ended up being? What was your job?
I was in 92 Golf, which was a cook.
Okay.
And the way they were able to sell me on that is originally I wanted to become a cook right out of high school.
Oh, wow.
I wanted to go to either culinary school or fashion design school.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
But they were both pricey, and I didn't know how I was going to go about doing that. So
So you came out looking dressed to the nines, and you can eat good, right?
exactly. Well, not only that, they said, you want to learn how to cook, the Army will teach you that. And not only will we teach you
Cool.
how to cook, but when you get out, we have this thing called the GI Bill, where you want to go to culinary school.
Nice.
We'll pay for that for you.
That's fantastic,
So,
right?
yeah.
So you're in Iraq for a day and for a year and a day.
In a day.
Please explain.
I just
What?
I just emphasized the day because they said it was going to be no more than a year, and I had already been stop lost. I was supposed to get out of the military 6 months earlier than I had.
Now, what does stop lost mean? I don't know what that means.
I was supposed to get out, but since I was in Iraq, you couldn't do less than that year. So if it had been, if my unit had deployed 6 months later, I would have been able to get out right before. But since I deployed with only 6 months left, I had to fulfill that 6 months, and then the rest of the remaining 6 months to fill the entire
Okay.
year.
For the,
So where'd you go from Iraq? Did you go back to the States, or what was that like?
I came back from Iraq, and I was only there. I was in Germany because I was stationed in Germany before Iraq.
What city were you in?
I was in Ansbach, which is about 30K from Nuremberg.
Okay, I was over in Würzburg. That's why I asked.
Okay,
Nice.
not too far.
Yeah.
But I came back. I got to go on leave for a week and a half rather than take that week and a half and get out early. I was so homesick that I took a week and a half, went home, went back to Germany for 3 weeks, and then came back again.
Now, were you married? Were you married at this time, or?
No, I was not.
Okay.
I was single pretty much all the way through the military.
Wow.
So when did you meet your wife, or how did you meet your wife?
Well, that's a long story. I have
We'll have you back on another show. You can explain that.
exactly.
Did you see?
We're gonna need a few hours for that. But
So when you were in Iraq, you were there what year? Iraq?
2004 to 2005.
Oh wow! What fob were you at in 04?
Spiker.
Okay. Yeah, I was over at Victory and Normandy,
Okay.
and we were actually entertaining the troops. So
Outstanding.
funny. I'll share a story with you at some point. But I remember one time we were flying over Baghdad. We got shot at going from fob to fob, entertaining the troops.
Yeah,
And I took it
pretty
personally,
scary.
thinking they didn't like my jokes. But no, we never made it over to Spiker.
Okay.
Never made it over to Spiker, but we were getting shot at, man.
That's-
That was crazy. Did you
Yeah.
see anything scary when you were over there? What was the scariest thing you saw?
Yeah.
It would have had to have been the convoy from Kuwait to Iraq when we first got there.
You were in the convoy.
I was in the convoy.
Okay.
I was actually in the lead gun truck. I don't know the.
Let's put the cook in the lead gun truck.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't like my food? Come on. Really?
I guess being good at shooting a 50 cal will get you there.
Oh.
So that was definitely the scariest part. I don't know. The tactics change all the time. I don't know how it is over there now as far as convoys go. But when
With
we
all
were
the IEDs, it's got to
exactly
be right. Right.
when we were going through, you have your first truck is your gunner truck. And again, I don't know how it is now, but your first truck's your gunner truck. Immediately behind the gunner truck is navigation. The navigation truck, letting the rest of the convoy behind them know where to go. But we're the ones in the front leading the navigation truck. So
You got point, man.
You
You got
lose-
point.
So you guys are kind of like the guinea pig, like
Exactly.
right there in the front as the
You-
navigation's
exactly.
going.
Put the
And-
cook up front.
Exactly. Get them up there. So I was in the very front gun truck, and you just hear horror stories going through. There's different rumors that go around, and you do all this convoy training leading up to when you go into Iraq. And we heard stories of just going underneath overpasses. The front gun truck, the gunner truck, was getting targeted to basically mess up the whole convoy behind it, because if you have a stalled, your first vehicle stalled, you can't get around that. And so we heard stories of going under these overpasses. They were just tying IEDs to string or rope and time it perfectly to just as the gun truck is going under, they'll just drop it over.
It's amazing how you can have zero. Well, I'm just kidding. Speculation. It's amazing how you can have zero, for lack of argument, a college degree over in a third world country, and yet they could figure this crap out, and we can't. We can't even count. We don't even have a counter for it because you can't train for it because you don't know.
Exactly.
I mean, it's like, you know, when we were there, they were telling us that these guys, they would find mortars. What I was told, they would find mortars that were just placed out in the field somewhere, and they would just go like, yeah, we'll aim. I mean, you can't even aim. You just go ahead and fire it and hope it lands in a fob. Either it's hit or miss.
Exactly.
I'm just like,
Crazy.
man, kaboom! My head just explodes. No pun intended. But you know, how do you deal with stuff like coming home? How do you deal with stuff like that? Is
Yeah.
it kind of like, oh shit, what was I thinking? What were you thinking?
The transition, it was rough. I actually, when I first got back, I actually had a couple buddies of mine kind of not make fun of me, but kind of poke jabs. It probably wasn't nice looking back at it now, but
Well,
they
yeah.
make loud noises, and I I get kind of shaken up.
A little bit of PTSD.
I get shaken up a little bit, but...
And a lot of people think that's bullshit, and it's not bullshit, man.
I can tell you firsthand it is
It is not bullshit.
But if people are even making jokes and stuff about that, that's not even really funny. To me, it's not funny.
Here's a counter. Go walk into their house when they're sleeping.
Right.
And just...
Throw some firecrackers in their window.
Boom!
Yeah.
What? Hey, I thought it was funny. Come on, right? So you get home, you're kind of jacked up. So how do you deal with it? Are you getting help from the VA?
Yeah,
or are they helping you? Do you go to the VA? What are they doing for you?
No, actually, I don't take advantage of
Why, man?
of it like I should.
Yeah.
God.
I'm finally I'm taking advantage now with the help of our neighbors and the fact that we're moving into this new veteran community. I'm starting to see and find out from our neighbors what the VA offers, and that's helping out a lot. And I look forward to utilizing more of the VA services.
Let's talk, man, because I could tell you, and you can talk to
yeah.
Michael. You know, Michael Mayo,
Right.
who's one of our vets who was on here a few weeks ago. Brother, I'm telling you, man, it's priceless. And I was one of those guys. I was definitely one of those guys that would poke fun like the VA sucks. As I'm saying the VA sucks, I'm walking in, getting my freebies.
Right.
You know, and then walking out still MFing the VA.
But you know what?
And
in a way, though, it's not freebies because you served your country. It's really not freebies.
But that was the
Because
mindset
look
that
what
I
you guys
had.
have
That's the
given.
mindset that I had, which I look at in a totally different light now. You know, and I didn't have a good mindset, and I've learned to do a complete 180. And I
Yeah.
know there's a lot of veterans out there right now, guys. Get the help that you need because, like Alex has said, it's
very important.
It's all right. We worked for it, man. So, first of all, thank you for your service.
Yes.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Alex.
I mean, it means the world to us. And just knowing that we're going to be neighbors and we have this veteran community and we have this show, we have a platform for guys like you and all the other veterans to come aboard and tell us what it was
Tell
like,
your
what
story.
happened, and tell your story, what it was
Right.
like now. But if you had to sum it up in one thought, or if you have anything that we didn't cover here today, is there anything you want to say to anyone that you might be able to help or anything?
Or
This
just
is
to our
this is your
viewers
time,
out
man.
there.
There's other people out there that are feeling the PTSD, if you will, and there's other people out there that you can talk to, and I speak about it. I've spoken to doctors, and it does exist, and there's kind of this stigma with it, and there's the people that don't believe in it, and I can tell you firsthand, it's there.
It's real.
It's real.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
real. And I just feel bad because there's people that have it a lot worse than I did. There's no level of it or any kind of bracket, but I think I'd be very low on the totem pole or spectrum. But I can't imagine the people that saw far worse than I did over there and how they're feeling right now.
Well, I can say from experience, from both ends, that I know I can relate to what you're saying. And if you don't get help, we try to get a veteran, the gentleman from the VA, World War II vet. Not a lot of World War II vets on.
Right.
He's 80 years old. We tried to get him on the show.
Yeah.
And
He couldn't. He
said
couldn't do
he
it.
can't come on the show. He still can't talk about it. He hasn't. He wants to get the help. He won't get the help. But he said he wished us well. And so there are guys, like you said, I'm begging you, don't get to 80 years old where you're sitting there on your I call it the rocking chair test. You're sitting on the patio, with your lovely wife and kids, and you're doing this going coulda, woulda, shoulda. And now by that time it's too late.
You don't ever want to look back.
I call it the rocking chair test. Actually, it's not mine. It's Tony Robbins. It's the Tony Robbins rocking chair test. But buddy, thank you so much for being on the show. And thank you so much for your service, man.
Thank you.
Thanks, brother.
Thanks, Alex.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you again for tuning in to Life After War, and we'll see you next time, right?
That's right. Folks, stay tuned for more Life After War on emPOWERme.tv.
Thank you.